Hello, I'm Deirdre Hade, and I am a mystic.
And my name is William Arntz, and I am the Physicist.
Welcome to The Mystic and the Physicist,
Where science and spirituality meet.
And we're here today to talk about my husband Will's new book, How to Suffer in 10 Easy Steps.
And it is easy to suffer.
Yes, I know it. You do a good job at that.
Well, you know, I was going to say I try, but really it's like I try not to, and yet
you suffer, which is why you wrote the book.
Which is why I suffer.
But I was actually the inspiration for the book, and so I have adopted the name of the Suffering Muse.
And I am the Suffering Guru.
That's right, because I inspired him about suffering. Because
now, wait a minute, yes, you did inspire me, but we have to be clear about something. You didn't inspire me to suffer.
No,
of course not.
No.
You inspired me to examine suffering in a how-to kind of way.
Yes,
right,
absolutely.
But it's a distinction, honey, because I don't want people thinking that you made me suffer.
Oh, sweetie.
See what I mean?
Oh, thank you.
See?
Isn't he sweet?
Even physicists have a heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
I really appreciate that clarification.
But
so let's get down and let's talk about this book, because this is a really awesome book. Even though my daughter says, "Mom, don't use awesome. Nobody uses it anymore." But I think it's an awesome book because you know what Will's done is he's taken.
I think it's a groovy book.
Oh, that's even better. Groovy.
Yeah, groovy book.
No, it gives away our age. So it's a pretty awesome book because what it does is it explains, first of all, pointing out how we keep ourselves in suffering, like how we make ourselves suffer even when we don't have to suffer. And then Will, being the kind of persephorial type that he is, did a lot of research into the history of suffering. So he has a Suffering Hall of Fame, which covers who suffers and how much they suffered according to the world religions. So here we are in the next generation. And so what do we do with our suffering? It says, sweetie, it says, discover, embrace, and own the mechanics of misery. Well, what are the mechanics of misery from a scientific point of view?
Well, from the scientific point of view, the mechanics of misery, or the cause and effect which causes misery. So the cause can be very many things, but the effect is the misery. I hope I have explained it well enough.
Okay, that's a good start. Are you channeling somebody right now?
No,
but what about? I mean, how you talked about the neuronet and the neuroscience of what happens to our brain chemistry, like.
Well, you know, the brain. The thing is, suffering becomes a habit. And because it becomes a habit, you get your neural pathways, which are always going the same way. So when something happens, you can fall into suffering just because you have before. And the notion in science is, well, there's ways to disrupt that pattern. Neuroplasticity is one of the big ones. And one of the biggest things to bring up neuroplasticity is humor.
Great.
So therefore, in the book, there's a lot of, you'll have some cartoons in there, New Yorker type cartoons.
We love the cartoons.
You can pick up cartoons, and I kind of make, fun of self-help books in a jovial kind of way. Yeah, no. I do.
But I'm a self-help teacher.
Well, I know. I don't make fun of self-help teachers.
Oh, okay.
Just the self-help books that promise the world.
To make sure. So let's give everybody an idea here. We've got the setup for suffering, how it all begins, the pseudoscience of suffering, science, technology, our age of suffering. Let's have some fun with suffering. Blame them, creating our reality. It's the law. Yes, suffering is the law. Oh, here, this is good. The power of not now. Very good.
Yeah.
Suffering Hall of Fame. And then, oh, wow. We have the steps of how to get over suffering. forgiveness, surrender, wisdom. See, you really are a self-help author. And then we go into
I know, but
the age of surprise and the ta-da sufferometer. So just before we take off, I'd love for you to share with everyone about the sufferometer, because this is very cool.
well,
My favorite.
I had the pseudoscience of suffering was one chapter, and I go through charts and graphs, and at the end you always need something to measure. You have thermometers, you have speedometers, and now you have sufferometers. And here's mine, and basically it shows you can put it to where you're suffering at a given moment. There's things to do with the wisdom wheel. How are you going to move out of your suffering state? Whether you're suffering past, present, or future, and whether you create it or not, which is I create or shit happens. So
Wait, what is it? I created it or what happens?
shit happens.
Oh, okay, great. Just wanted to be clear about that.
Yeah.
And this thing
Not
is pretty
appropriate
cool.
for children under.
But this is pretty cool, because what we've done is we've taken the sufferometer, put it on our refrigerator, and we each have one. And we'll play with it. We'll put like who's suffering the most, what we think we need to end that suffering. So maybe we'll be like, okay, I'm at 50%. Because I woke up, I have a headache, and I'm having to deal with bills, and this is so not fun. And then, I might come along and see, oh, you're suffering? Okay, well, what'd you suffer about? Well, 'cause, I'm dealing with bills, and this is so not fun. Okay, well, gee, is that shit happens, or you created this, right?
Yeah.
And then so who?
Well, the bills is half and half.
Okay, half and half, so it's like in the middle.
But at that point, you just might move it to surrender. I mean, you got the bills. You're living in this world. There are bills, and that's just part of the overhead of living here. So you go to surrender, and you say, WTF.
Yeah, WT. Okay,
WTF,
so it's a kind of a fun little thing we do with our kids. That's really fun, so that they know when to leave mom alone. So here we are. How to suffer in 10 easy steps. Discover, embrace, and own the mechanics of misery. Follow-up books. The 84 disagreements. Turkey soup for the loser. Oh, Jack Canfield's like our best friend. Eat lust, pass out.
And War and Peace.
And War and Peace, yes. So would you like to share one closing remark to help all of us with how to suffer?
No, I think I've said enough.
Okay.